everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Ellen and I am the maker behind Sew and Inspire. I don't quite know how, but we seem to be now in 2023. So I thought I would sit down and show you everything that I knitted in 2022 and getting it all out and seeing it all. I cannot believe we knitted this much in 2022. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going through it and sharing it with you. If you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy this kind of content. We've got quite a bit to get through, so let's just get started. I'm going to kind of go through the order I knitted them in, and actually there is actually more than this because I knitted quite a lot of gifts this year as well, so I will also include them and insert pictures as well. But the first thing which I finished in 2022 was this massive chunky cardigan which I knitted for my mum. As you can see, this is really difficult to show, but it's basically just a long line chunky cardigan. It's made out of this King Cole quartz, I think it's called, yarn, which is just a acrylic and wool blend. This was like when I literally didn't know anything about yarn and things like that, so my mum basically saw this yarn and it was on sale and was like, I really like that, and I was like, should I knit you a cardigan? She was like, yeah, that would be great. So I then chose a pattern from like the little pattern books, so I think this was a King Cole pattern. I'll put it on this screen, the exact pattern names, but this was knitted flat and then seamed. If I could reknit this now, I would use a completely different pattern and in a completely different construction. But she wears it so much, which you can probably tell because it is pilling quite a bit, but that is to be expected, I guess, with such a chunky and soft yarn. This was like made on 10mm needles. But yeah, this was kind of like the first chunky garment that I made, and my mum wears it all the time because it's really soft and cozy. Oh, I forgot to mention, this was the second garment that I ever knitted, so I can't be too harsh on myself. I started knitting at the very end of 2021 and I made my mum a slipover, and then 2022 has been the year where I really got into knitting and found my complete love for it. I started the podcast, so yeah, you may be able to tell I got a little bit obsessed. Anyway, next one which I finished was this one. This is like one of my favourites that I've ever made. This one I made for myself and it is made out of King Cole Timeless Chunky because I saw this yarn. It's so soft and lovely. I saw it in the yarn shop and it is literally the exact colour which I had been looking for ages because I'm obsessed with this colour, if you didn't know. And then I found this pattern on Ravelry which had these beautiful sleeves which I just fell in love with, but I don't think it was for the correct like yarn, so I kind of used a different pattern for the stitch count of the body, but I didn't follow the pattern because that was for a knitted flat seamed jumper. But I did this bottom up in the round. Like, I had no clue what I was doing, but it seemed to have turned out fine. I basically knitted it bottom up. I just knitted in the round until I thought it was long enough, and then I literally split the sleeves and just knitted like the front and the back flat, and then did some shaping around the neckline, and then picked up stitches, knitted a folded down collar, and then picked up stitches and followed the pattern for the sleeves. As you can see, these sleeves are absolutely massive. Like, they're wide, they're huge. but I love them. They've got this beautiful lace pattern, and if you wanted a statement sleeve, then here you are. I do find it a little bit itchy, so I do have to wear something underneath it, but that just means it's perfect when it's like really cold. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to faff around folding them. I'm just can't do it. Okay, next up we have this guy. This was actually started before the previous two which I showed you, but we encountered some hiccups. But basically I got this yarn for Christmas. I didn't know anything about yarn, so I asked for this yarn, and I basically didn't ask for enough because I had no idea about sweater quantities and how much I needed and things, and I chose a pattern which was meant for a DK weight yarn, and this is in fact an Aran. So this is how do I describe this? It's like extremely tight gauge because it's Aran weight on 4mm needles, but I do love this nonetheless because it's just such a great basic. It is the Essential Sweater by Darling J'adore. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And I used, for this, I used Wool & the Gang Super Trooper wool, which now they have changed, I think. I think they still have this yarn, but I think it's called something else. So basically I got this yarn for Christmas, and then obviously I needed more. But when I went on the website, the yarn was nowhere to be found. And I was like, great. So then I had to wait for them to like relaunch it as its new name and everything. So I was like, God, it's now got a like, it's been like completely rebranded. There is no way these dye lots are going to be the same. So I was absolutely terrified. But I cannot tell where the different dye lots are. So I think I got away with it. As I said, before knitting this, I'd only ever knitted one other thing. Well, when I started this anyway. So I'd never done twisted rib. This also has German short rows to raise the back neck, which I love. I've never done raglan increases. I had to make the body a lot shorter than in pattern, and I didn't do a big split hem, which would have been really lovely on this, but I did not have enough yarn because yes, I ordered more, but I literally ordered just enough. It was ridiculous. I was binding off the hem and I had this much left. And I'm not exaggerating, I literally had this much left. I haven't actually blocked this and I do not know why. And this is a merino wool, so I'm hoping that it's going to grow quite a lot. Would quite like to block a little bit of length into it and width, but yeah, I'm really proud of this one. Like, I just think it looks beautiful, if I do say so myself. Okay, next we have my first ever pair of socks. I got the kind of basic Knit Pro Zings set of needles, which goes from 3.5 to 8mm. So the smallest needles I had were 3.5, and I really wanted to make some socks. So I made some DK weight socks on 3.5mm needles using the Crazy Sock Ladies free vanilla sock, DK vanilla sock pattern. For this I used Rico Superba Bamboo Superwash. I held it double to make a DK, and it was the first time I did a heel flap and gusset obviously, and yeah, I was so excited. The first time I turned a heel on a sock I was like, how the hell did that even happen? And I really do love the colourway of this yarn. I just did basic 1x1 rib cuff, and for my first pair of socks I'm pretty proud. Let me try them on actually and see if I made the foot too long. Oh, they're actually fine. Look, they're actually a perfect fit. The leg is quite short on them though, for some reason. But I think I just followed the pattern exactly. And then I moved on to some more socks, and I got myself a 2.5mm 9-inch circular, and that was a game changer for me. Absolute game changer. When we were in the yarn shop, my mum picked a yarn that she wanted some socks in, and I picked some yarn that I wanted some socks in. So these were the yarn that my mum chose, and I remember I got this yarn and I had absolutely no clue that these were gonna that it was self-striping yarn. So when I started knitting them up, I was like, oh my gosh, it's creating stripes. So yeah, we got a beautiful pair of stripy socks. These are the King Cole zigzag yarn, and yeah, I used Crazy Sock Lady's vanilla sock pattern, and I did a 2x2 rib. No idea why, just decided to. And then I had enough yarn left over to make a shorty pair of socks. First time I've made a shorty pair of socks, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but I kind of just picked up from like watching Crazy Sock Lady's podcasts and stuff. But I do not wear these very often because I find them really itchy on my ankle, and I do not know why. That's what they look like. They're really cute and they fit really well, but it was just the ankle. Again, I did a 2x2 rib cuff, which I have no idea why I did that. I was obviously very into 2x2 rib cuffs. Oh, next we have my first Petite knit pattern, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this was like my first proper project, which is going to sound a bit weird, but it's because like I was watching everyone's knitting podcasts and things, and everyone was making petite knit patterns and holding their yarn with a strand of mohair, and I was like, I really want to do that. So this was my project where I did that. This is the Friday Slipover by Petite Knit, and I knitted this with a strand of Twister Solid by Hobby, no idea why, and Touch Me Mohair by We Are Knitters, and it has created the softest, coziest, warmest, loveliest thing in the world. It is broken rib, so it was the first time I'd ever done broken rib. I love it so much. And then you pick up and do a folded neckband. Look at these beautiful increases on the neckline, and on the armholes as well. Oh, just beautiful. As I said, it was my first petite knit pattern, so I really felt like I was a proper knitter. When I was knitting, after I knit this, I just loved it. I absolutely loved working with the yarn, and I don't wear this as much as I thought I would, and it's purely because I don't feel very confident in it. I don't know why, I just feel like I've never worn a slipover before. I don't have any in my wardrobe apart from this one, but I kept seeing it on Instagram and I was like, and everyone just looked so lovely in them, so I was like, I really want one. But I have kind of found a way that I like to wear it now, so I do wear it a lot more now than I did when I first finished it. After making this, I now really want to make myself a really lovely sweater with a fingering held with a mohair. I do have to just say, We Are Knitters Touch Me Mohair is the only mohair I do not find itchy one bit. The composition is baby alpaca, super kid mohair and mulberry silk, so maybe that's why, I don't know, but it's the only mohair which I can literally wear next to skin and I don't find itchy at all, which I tried. I should just add, I haven't obviously tried every mohair in the world, but out of the ones I tried. Next up we have Vest number 7 by My Favourite Things Knitwear, and to be honest, this was a bit of a fail. Not because of the knitting, just because of the sizing. I made this for my mum, but I'm not sure if my gauge was wrong or I just chose a size that was too small. This is what it looks like, and it keeps doing that thing. It's basically like a cardigan vest. That's how I'm going to describe it. The pattern does have buttons and buttonholes down the front, but my mum didn't want that. It has a picked up ribbed button band, but as you can see, it just constantly folds in. I don't know if it's because I didn't block this properly, I honestly don't remember, but Anyway, it doesn't matter because I'm going to rip this out and reuse the yarn and literally re-knit this exact thing just in a bigger size, because I really loved knitting this. I absolutely love doing the shoulder and back construction of this. I love how it looks and I really love knitting it, and I just really enjoyed the knit in general. It's just not big enough. And the yarn I used for this was Wendy Harris double knitting. As I said, I'm not sure if my gauge was off, I will check that, but this is a very like tweedy yarn. It's really lovely. It is a wool and acrylic blend, and when I make this again, when I pick up to do the button band, I may do a double knit button band instead, because I am obsessed the look of double knit button bands. I don't know what it is, I just love it. Next up was a gift knit. Was this the first gift knit of the year? Maybe the first thing I ever like gifted. I don't know. Anyway, I made scarf number 2 by My Favourite Things Knitwear for my granny for her birthday. And for this I used Sublime Baby Cashmere Merino silk, so it was beautiful to knit with. And I just really enjoyed this project in general. You always want to get to the next stitch pattern, and I absolutely love projects like that where you just want to keep knitting. So she loved it when I gave it to her, so I hope she is still loving it, because I really loved making it, and I would definitely make another one of these. Sticking on the shawl theme while we're at it, for my mum's birthday I also made her a shawl. This was the first ever like big shawl that I made. This I just used a free pattern which I found on Lovecrafts. I will put the pattern names on the screen and I will also link them down below. I really enjoyed knitting this one as well. It's really quite simple, but I think it's so effective. It's just plain stocking net for like a lot of the first bit, and then it goes into this is my favourite section, this kind of honeycomb bit, and then it goes into a slip stitch bit, which you can't, or is the slip stitch before that? I think the slip stitch was before that, but you honestly cannot tell. And then as you can see, the yarn I used has had this really nice gradient. I honestly, it was so near her birthday and I was like here and I was like, is this colour ever going to change? But obviously the rows were getting longer and longer. I mean, by the end of this I literally had over 400 stitches on my needles. But I really do love the end result, and my mum absolutely loves it as well. I made this out of a cotton yarn from Hobby. Again, if I was gonna like choose a yarn, I wouldn't choose this one, but we done a lot. Next up we have one of my favourite makes of the year, I think. This is the Souffle Tee by Laura of Penrose Knits. Honestly, one of the best things that have come out of like knitting is finding Laura. And I know that sounds dramatic, but we have a very similar brain, and I have never found someone or related to someone so much. But anyway, that's completely irrelevant to the pattern, but I just had to mention that because if you have not heard of her and you don't follow her, she's just the loveliest human being ever. Not that I've ever met her, but I really hope one day I will. Anyway, I made the Souffle Tee, and I made this one for my mum. I knitted the body a lot longer than in pattern because that's just how my mum prefers it. I just love everything about this. I love the ruffle. It's the first time, I didn't even know like you could do ruffles in knitting before I saw Laura do this. I was just like, wow, love it. And then it has like puffed sleeves, and then it has a really lovely I-cord edging, and then it has a button at the back and a little loophole. And this was actually the first project where I did I-cord. I'd never done I-cord before doing this, and I really enjoyed it, which I know might be slightly controversial, but And then it was also the first time I had ever done a folded hem. It has little folded hems on the sleeves and on the bottom as well, which I absolutely love the look of this folded hem, and I definitely want to do more folded hems. For this I used Stylecraft Charm. I wouldn't use this yarn if I was gonna knit this again, but as I said, very new to knitting, very new to yarns. This is a acrylic wool and mohair blend, and it says it's a lace weight, but it is a very thick lace weight, so I held this single the whole way and it's absolutely fine. So I didn't get that kind of sheer yoke effect, but I still absolutely love it nonetheless. And it was like self-striping, if you couldn't tell. But I do have to say though, using this yarn, it was £12 for one ball, and I managed to make this entire thing out of one ball. So it's an absolute bargain souffle, and I do love it, and so does my mum. And also this was like, this took a very long time because it's obviously lace weight on a 4mm needle, so I really feel like a lot of love and time went into this, and I just really enjoyed the process. Next up we have another gift knit. I made vest number 1 for one of my teachers when I was still at school, because she, without her I would not have made it through my GCSEs, and I was just beyond grateful for the support that she gave me. So I knitted her vest number 1 in Serdar Country Classic, in this really lovely kind of a bit lighter than royal blue kind of colour. I made size medium, but it came up very small, so I would have probably made a larger size if I knew that. But I think she really liked it. I hope she really liked it. But I really enjoyed knitting it. It was just a really basic, mindless knit, and I believe it had that lovely shoulder construction as well that a lot of my favourite things in knitwear patterns has, so I love that as well. Next up we have another pair of socks. These are my first like non-stockinette socks. I had seen 3x1 ribbed socks like loads on Instagram, and I really wanted a pair for myself, so I made myself a pair in this beautiful yarn. This is like the most me yarn you will ever see in your life. It's from West Yorkshire Spinners. It's a signature 4-ply. I just followed the exact same pattern, but just did a 3x1 rib. I love these. They're like me in a sock, which I love. But as I said, I don't wear my hand knit socks very often. I really love the look of a 3x1 rib sock on. I don't know why I'm trying to show you this so awkwardly, but there we go. And then I think I had like nearly 2 balls left over of the yarn which I made my mum's cardigan in. So a bit later on I made a scarf out of the leftovers. I cannot remember the exact name of this, but it's a free pattern from Pearl Soho with this really lovely, beautiful, interesting stitch, which I really love, and I really enjoyed knitting this as well. I basically knit until I ran out of yarn, so it's not the longest scarf in the world and it looks a tiny bit stupid. So I think what I might do is sew the ends together and make it a cowl, because I think it would look slightly less stupid, but I just haven't got around to doing that yet. And I think once I make it into a cowl, my mum will probably wear it a little bit more. Okay, next we have a very exciting project, and one that just means the world to me. This was my first ever test knit which I got accepted for. So this is the Abidos top by Lily Kate Makes. Firstly, look at the pattern. Look how beautiful this is. When I saw it, I just fell in love with it, and I just think it's so unique and beautiful. I just absolutely love it. I used Drops Bell and Drops Kid Silk, and Obviously it had to be in pink because it's me, and I love it. I wore this so much in the summer. I obviously haven't worn it in quite a while because it's been way too cold for a sleeveless top, but I love it. I don't know what more to say. I just love it. I love the construction, I love the design, I love everything, and I will forever be beyond grateful to Lily for accepting me to test knit for her. Not only for this one, but I then was lucky enough to test knit for her a couple more times later in the year. So yeah, I feel like this kind of like just got me a little bit more into the knitting world, and I'm just very grateful. I also think I would really like to make myself another summer top in drop spell this year, because it is worn really well and it's really nice to wear. Okay, next up we have a little bit of a different project. I made the Sugar Boo bralette by Kadri in this stunning yarn. I am obsessed with this yarn. It is honestly the most beautiful thing ever. I believe it's from Vinnie's Colours. I'm not 100% sure. I got it at Thread Festival, but this yarn is 100% bamboo viscose, and it is the softest thing in the entire world. I'm just obsessed, and I forgot how lovely this was because I haven't worn it in ages because it's been in my drawer, and I need to wear this more because it just feels so lovely. I originally thought I was going to knit this and wear it more as a top, but the way it's turned out, I wouldn't really wear it as a top, and I will just wear it kind of under sweatshirts like this, and it's just really comfy and I love it. And yeah, I love that also this yarn is like slightly variegated, as you can see, so it just gives it a little bit of interest, and yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. Next up we have another gift knit. I made the Whitmore cardigan for my lovely Nana, who is the person who taught me all of this and is the reason I can sew and knit, and I am the way I am. It goes down to her, so I knew for her birthday I wanted to make her something. So yeah, I made her the Whitmore cardigan out of King Cole homespun double knitting. I really enjoyed knitting this a lot, and my Nana absolutely loves it and wears it all of the time, which just makes me so happy. I cannot even express to you how happy it makes me when I see her wearing it. So yeah, I made a size medium, and again it did come up quite small, but that is said in the pattern that it has quite a small amount of positive ease, I think. So yeah, I would also absolutely love to make the Whitmore sweater this year for my mum or something, so we'll see. Next up we have one of like my proudest makes of the year, I think. I made the zipper sweater man for my dad for his birthday, and this was the first thing which I ever knitted for my dad, and I'm really proud of it because I think it's turned out so lovely. I had never done a lot of the techniques in this before. The cast on was really interesting, and it was something new to learn. I'd obviously never inserted a zip. That was a whole new process. I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but we got there in the end. For some reason, I thought I was needing to put the zip in before blocking it, so I was like, this is just impossible. And then I was like researching how people did it, and then decided to block it, and then the zip went in absolutely fine. So if you are making this or want to make this, make sure you block it before you put the zip in. It makes it a lot easier. For this I used Drops Alaska, which is 100% wool, so it's really lovely and thick and hard wearing. I don't believe I did any more to... Oh no, I think I knit the arms shorter because my dad has quite short arms. So I basically just based it off one of the jumpers which he wears all the time. I think he really loves it, and he does I have seen him wear it, and which just means the world to me and makes me incredibly happy. And I really want one for myself, so I think I might have to make one for me and my mum to share. Okay, we are nearly there. Next up we have another test knit for Lily. I test knitted the Slow Down sweater for her. It's just a really basic but beautifully designed v-neck sweater. It is made out of an Aran weight, so it goes by pretty nice and quickly, and then it has these beautiful mohair details. So it has a mohair collar. Do you call that a collar? Neckline, neckband. You know what I mean? And then it has little mohair details at the end of the sleeves and at the bottom of the ribbing as well. I love this. It's really soft, and it's soft enough to wear next to skin. The yarn I used was Serdar Soltaire, which I'd never used before, and I really liked it. And as I said, it's next to skin soft, which is lovely. And then I used my leftover We Are Knitters mohair for this. And then, as you may be able to tell, it has a high-low hem, which I don't love. Just personally, I don't love wearing. So, and I was kind of thinking why I don't pick this up and wear this more often, because I do wear it, but I was thinking why I don't pick it up more often. I think it is because of the hem. So I'm thinking of possibly ripping back the ribbing and the short rows to create the high-low hem, and just knitting a little bit further and then doing a split hem. I don't know if it would look right on this sweater or not, but I think it would. But I don't know, that is something that I'm thinking about doing. But yeah, it's just like a drop shoulder, so it's really easy to wear. And it has, I absolutely love the decreases of the sleeve on this. I just think they're beautiful. Is this the last thing? Well, the last thing that I have with me. I think the rest were gift knits. The last thing which I knitted for my wardrobe anyway in 2022 was the Abidos sweater by, again, Lily Kate Makes, and I was lucky enough to test knit this one also for Lily. When I saw that she was coming out with a long sleeve version, I literally jumped with joy, because when I was knitting the short sleeve one, I was like, this would be so beautiful as a sweater. So when she came out with the long sleeve one, I was so excited, and I was so excited when she accepted me to test knit for her. This is made in Drops Sky and Drops Kid Silk as well for the mohair panels. I've never worked with Drop Sky before, and it's quite, like, it's really different to what I was expecting for this project, because you don't want to like weigh down the yoke too much. So this literally weighs nothing. So Drop Sky is a DK weight, but it's 50 grams is 190 meters. So you want to get, like, use more of a blown yarn. I'm not saying this is a blown yarn, I'm not sure what kind of yarn this is, but like, as you can see, it doesn't look like I've knitted this, and it's honestly created just like the loveliest fabric ever. It has these beautiful balloon sleeves with a little tuck row at the bottom of the sleeves, which I absolutely love. And then it's kind of cropped, but kind of, it just sits perfectly like on the waistband of my jeans, which is like a really great length for this style of top I found on me. So what did I make after that? Yeah, so I made another Abidos top. It is very rare for me to knit a pattern or want to knit a pattern more than once, and I have knitted the Abidos top 3 times, and I plan to make more. I just love it so much. So I made a navy blue version for my auntie for Christmas, and she absolutely loves it, because when I first made my abidos top. She loved it, so I knew that I wanted to make her one for Christmas. So that is what I did, and I made it in this beautiful navy blue. Then I made another pair of just basic vanilla socks in this beautiful cashmere sock yarn from Rico for my Nana for Christmas. She loves them, wears them all the time, and they were an absolute joy to knit because the yarn was just so beautiful to work with. I then made the honey clutch for my granny for Christmas. I really love knitting this as well. I'd obviously never done honeycomb brioche, so it was something new, and I really enjoyed doing the actual stitch as well, and I learned so many new techniques doing that, and now I really want to make the honey purse. So, and also like the honey, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the round bag, like drawstring bag. I really want to make that as well. I also made a pair of fingerless mitts for my granny for Christmas. They are inspired by the penny gloves, but not that pattern because they are a Aran weight. So I used the stitch counts from a free pattern from Pearl Soho, but kind of did the design features of the penny gloves because I really liked the simplicity of them. So I think that is everything which I knitted in 2022, so don't think we did a bad job. I am really proud of everything, and I love and wear like 90% of the things, which just makes me so happy. There is no best feeling than wearing something that you've knitted and then someone complimenting you on it and being like, I made it. It's just one of the best feelings and something that I absolutely love about making my own clothes. But yeah, that is it for this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. I really look forward to making a lot more knitting videos in 2023. I know that they're not for everyone because my content is very much sewing and knitting, and not everyone is a sewer and a knitter. So I feel like I'm still trying to find my knitting audience, but yeah, hopefully we can grow a little community of knitters and sewers over here, and well, that is my dream anyway, but we'll see. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you very soon for a brand new video. Bye!